Hey, gang, here we are. Fun presidential facts again. And just for fun. Look, I'm a floating head. Oh, presidents. What? Presidential fun facts. Here we go. Can you memorize the presidents? Hope you can. It's week 2. And we, the people, demand more memes because Merca. That's why. All right, our next president, James Madison. He was president from 1809 to 1817. He's got a dope widow's peak. Look at me throwing shade. Yes, the widow's peak. He was primary author of the Constitution and wrote the Federalist Papers with Alexander Hamilton. Many of you know Hamilton, who was the founding father that was never president, and he wrote these papers in defense of the Constitution with Alexander Hamilton and James Madison. He was also president during the War of 1812, which was our first real conflict that we had as a brand new baby nation. Oh, baby. He died at age 85, which was really old for that time period. And he was the last living signer of the Constitution. So he was the end of a generation. And now we're moving into an era where our republic is more like a toddler or an elementary school student. We're growing up. We're getting big. And he was the last one alive from the constitutional era. His wife, Dolly, was super popular. People just thought she was cute and fashionable, and everybody really liked her. Aaron Burr, fun fact, actually introduced them, and she was 17 years younger than James Madison. Aaron Burr was the man who shot Alexander Hamilton. What? There's Miss Dolly. So cute. Hey, man, at least I don't have a butt chin, too. Butt chins and widow's peaks. Such unfortunate genetic problems. I mean, look at John Travolta. James Monroe is our next president, 1817 to 1825. He's most famous for the Monroe Doctrine, which essentially was America waving the rest of the European world off of the Western Hemisphere and said, you won't come over here and you're not going to interfere in our business or any Latin American country's business, and you're not going to try and colonize. It was like an invisible force field, so to speak. And really, Monroe took the credit for it. It has his name on it, but it was really John Quincy Adams, his Secretary of State, who was responsible for that particular policy. 5 states were added during James Monroe's presidency, and you're starting to see a ramp up of sectionalism in the United States. This is when states are fighting with each other, theoretically, metaphorically, so to speak, about whether or not they're going to enter the Union as slave or free states. Thanks to the compromises at the Constitutional Convention, the 3/5 compromises primarily, states really in the South had a vested interest in coming in as slave states because it meant they got more representation. And so this creates a lot of tension, particularly North versus South. So by 1820, the president has to negotiate a compromise, the Missouri Compromise, which allowed Missouri to come in as a slave state and Maine to come in as a free state. And this postpones some of those tensions for another 10, 15, 20 years. Our next president is John Quincy Adams from 1825 to 1829. He actually ran in 1824 against Andrew Jackson and Henry Clay. This resulted in a draw, a 3-way tie, and that election was thrown into the House of Representatives, which meant that each state delegation got 1 vote. John Quincy Adams worked with Henry Clay to make sure that he won that election, and it becomes known as the corrupt bargain and really infuriated Andrew Jackson, who came out swinging in the 1828 election to defeat John Quincy Adams. During his presidency, JQA worked with Henry Clay to create the American system, which really unified our economic policy, focused very much on manufacturing and exporting our raw materials, including protective tariffs, supported the National Bank, and some transportation infrastructure such as canals. And fun fact, he was the first president to abandon powdered wigs and short breeches. Let's just get rid of that thing. Really, people? Really? The next president is Andrew Jackson from 1829 to 1837. He was known as Old Hickory. He had fought in battles as a young man in the U.S. Army. He was also known as president as King Andrew by the Whigs. He was a lawyer from Tennessee, a war hero from the Battle of New Orleans, and he was pretty popular representing the common man. He comes back, and he's known as King Andrew. During his time, he vetoed the National Bank. He got Congress to pass the Indian Removal Act, removing Indians from the eastern states, and passes the Tariff of Abominations, which causes South Carolina to almost secede and results in a nullification crisis. One fun fact about Andrew Jackson, he once received a giant block of cheese, and I'm talking 1,400 pounds of deliciousness. Oh yeah, who doesn't like cheese? As a gift, and wanted to give it to White House visitors. Approximately 10,000 people showed up, so he is truly the first cheesehead. Go Packers. I don't even like football, but I like the cheesehead. I want one of those hats. All right, so every week I'm going to have a history mystery. Which founding father? You have to guess, and I'll give you the answer next week. Which founding father wrote an essay called Fart Proudly? Right? Who doesn't like a good fart joke now and then? What? Fart jokes? Ew! This was a mocking essay to poke fun at scientists who were looking at every little thing. And so he said, why don't we make our toots smell more pleasant? Really, who was that? That is next week's mystery. See if you can help figure it out. All right, that's it. Get me subscribers. Share it, click the link, and let's find out next week's history mystery when we learn about more presidents and more founding fathers. All right, folks, have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Peace